What's up, y'all? Episode 41 of The Creation Grounds. I'm your host, Aaron Lloyd. And before I get into our next guest, I want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe to anybody who you think will be inspired, motivated, educated, entertained, and all that. Just spread the positive vibes. My next guest is Pernell Walker, who is a native of the South Bronx. She decided she wanted to get into acting around high school. She talks about that process. She's been in the Sundance short Pariah, which you may have heard of. It's likely that you've heard of and seen. She's been in When They See Us on Netflix. She's been in a Deuce, and she's consistently working. She actually has a project upcoming that she couldn't really share on this episode because she signed some NDAs, but look out for her in that. In this episode, she talks about just basically on her on-set experiences and how they are different from theater, and just some tips for actors to know when being on set. She talks about her experience in grad school and what she wishes she knew back then that she knows now. What advice would she give to her freshman self? And just what she loves most about acting. She gives some great resources for actors in terms of books and resources just to improve on your craft. And just, she's being authentic and fun. This is a fun episode. You're gonna love Pernell. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to another episode of The Creation Grounds. I have Pernell Walker on with me. How you doing, Pernell?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Aaron?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
So you are a Bronx native. Tell me what your experience was growing up in the Bronx.
My experience was not typical. I grew up in the 1980s in the South Bronx, 163rd 3rd Avenue. And that was during like the Reagan era, crack, the AIDS pandemic, working class. The neighborhood I grew up in at 163rd 3rd Avenue was Albert Goodman Plaza. And it was a working class neighborhood, rough around the edges. It was very interesting, I guess you can say, as a kid growing up and seeing many different people of different walks of life in the South Bronx.
Yeah, a lot going on. That's when the Bronx
and hip hop.
And hip hop.
I gotta put the hip hop. Okay, that was a whole other thing.
I feel you. So very vibrant. Like you had a lot going on. You had a lot to draw from. What's your earliest memory of acting?
My earliest memory of acting was in junior high school when I was auditioning. Well, I wanted to audition for the performing arts high schools. And so a teacher by the name of Miss Taylor from 120, she was the librarian, school librarian, retired opera singer. On her prep periods, she would coach me and another girl to try to get into the high school, like the performing arts schools. And she picked out the monologues from For Color Girls.
Which one?
She picked out For Color Girls Who Consider Suicide, and I think I might have chose Lady in Blue, the apology one. And I'm like, okay, these are some grown ass monologues for a little 15-year-old. So she was in her prep period, God bless her, she would prep us, and that's how I kind of went into the audition for it, with that, and then I got in, but really I feel like my experience that made me go to that was not having a smooth experience in junior high school. I was shut down. I was not popular. I wasn't, I was very awkward, tomboy. I tried the T-Boz haircut, came up a little T-short. And I just stood out. I did not fit in at all, which made me shut down communication-wise. And you growing up and you just feel like you're alone, you just shut down. So I just wanted to change. So that's what really made me even want to have something different. Just do something different, you know?
So it was like, was it easy for you to start acting, like with that decision to become an actor? Was that an outlet for you almost from like being shy or awkward?
Well, I think it was a physical escape to get out of
The
the
South Bronx.
Bronx
I feel you.
schools or whatever and go into, because it's rough.
Yeah.
That thing was rough. I mean, if anybody went to a Bronx school like Morris or Morris High School, Taft, I mean, back then they didn't break up the schools, and that has its own complications too. When I went into Talent Unlimited, when I got into there, they had just broken up the high schools into mini schools to start the Talent Unlimited full school that was a program of Julia Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 98. I think I was probably like the second class of that. Or, no. Yeah, I think I was. Like the second or third class of the fully fledged school thing. But it was rough. It was rough if you was going to a high school in the South Bronx. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, the parent-teachers thing was more organized back then because they didn't break up anything, you know. But, so I went in, and I think the choice to make it a career did not pop off when I was in my theater classes because I had to learn how to be good at it. And I had a drama teacher, Abdul Rahim, who used to be a actor, and he turned into a teacher, and he was an excellent teacher. And the first time we had assignments to do monologues, your reward was that you would get a call back if you were really good, and you get to present in front of the class again. I didn't know about preparation. I half-assed on it. I probably half knew it, half did. And, now looking back on it, it probably was a mess. But when I didn't get a call back, I said,
how dare you?
I didn't get a call back. I said, and then you know what? I'll say this. I got some courage. I went up to the teacher and I said, excuse me, I didn't get a call. I went up to him. I was like, wait a minute. It's got to be something wrong. I did it. So I went up to the teacher and I said, I didn't get a call back. And he said, no, you did not.
Wow.
I said, oh. So the next go round when we had to do monologues, I OD'd on preparation. I was like, yo, that's crazy. I didn't call back. And in my head, I was like, nah, F that. I want to get a call back. So it gave me the drive to not suck. Like, I was like, yo, I got to learn this monologue 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day on a monologue. Child. And I was in the room just learning it and practicing what I want to do and how I want to say it. And that's how I got good. You know, ain't nobody gave me nothing. Come on, little red chick. Nah.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm not mad at it.
He wasn't good. Can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely. Speak your mind.
He was not bullshitting with me. If you wanted that call back to be the top of the class, to get your stuff seen again, to perform again, you needed to be that good and that prepared. So that made me go ham. And when I did go up, he started acting with me after I finished my I did graduation night from Color Girls. I mean, everybody was doing Color Girls in the art schools. And then afterwards, he was quoting, you know, he got in on it after I finished. So, and I got a call back. So I started to really love it and to really love the whole thing of it, because also in the high school I was at, if we wasn't doing a show and you had to learn the backstage stuff, like putting things together, how you pull a curtain or whatever, or doing different things, it made you start to fall in love with the community of it. You feel me? And
I
of
feel you.
course, every performing arts high school had that damn cafeteria,
Yep.
AKA Apollo.
Yep.
So
Beatboxing, drumming on the
everybody,
tables,
yes. So
all that.
everybody was off the hook. You had this overflow of energy and everything happening. So it was good, but I needed that kick up the butt to be like, girl, you got to do what you got to do to get your cool back.
I feel that. And then you got the spark, and you decide to go to grad school as a result of like this hard work. What led to that decision?
Before grad school, I went to City College to the theater program,
Mm-hmm.
and then grad school, I wanted to learn everything about what I was about to put my life on the line. And I don't mean like I'm gonna die, but you can't die on stage. You don't want to die on stage in a bad way. Like you don't want to stink on stage. You know, you want to do your best. And so if I'm gonna put my livelihood into this, I made the investment. And it depends on where everyone is in their path. Not saying that everyone has to, but for me, I wanted to know everything I needed to know before I get out of here and start booking.
I feel that.
That's what it meant to me. It's been a interesting, steady journey that I'm grateful for, because I have to go through your steps. You have to go up the ladder. There is no skipping, and I have all my tools from grad school, from experience, from life to go up that steady climb, and I appreciate that. So yeah, I went to grad school at Actor Studio Drama School. The training was amazing. I learned the Lee Strasberg approach to acting. And it has really opened me up as a person. It has opened me up to the craft of it, which is so sacred, because the reward, you're awarding yourself by doing the work, and then the audience gets the reward. You know what I mean? When you go to those emotional places, you're cleansing your spirit.
Yeah.
You're cleansing, and you're also, when you go to those places, you're kind of you're deconstructing the moments of what those darkest places were.
It's like catharsis.
And you further you're further clarifying. So it is the work, and it's so I'm grateful for that, because I put it in there,
That's great. And you've if you can give your freshman version of yourself, either at City College or Actor School of Drama, advice concerning building a career with the knowledge that you have now, like having experience in a career, what advice would you give your freshman version of yourself?
The freshman version in City College, I would say diversify your portfolio in terms of what you may want to do as a survival gig. You may want to get, I wouldn't suggest now people do education credits and try to teach in schools, because the current pandemic, I don't, it's not my thing. I was a sub teacher for some time, for a couple of years, and it helped. But yeah, I would diversify. I would say learn music if you can, if you have singing ability. I would also say take a business course, take a branding course. Now, of course, indirectly, because you have a lot of the influencers and the YouTubes and the people are learning on their own that brand or that thing that brings people to you, and the attention, it has currency, in the form of attention and things, and you create your own thing. It's a totally different model from where I went. But I would say diversify as much as you can. Be focused. For grad school, I know that people may want to out of the gate go and audition for things and go for things and da 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 da. But I would sincerely suggest that before entering, like, let's say your first year of grad school, which is very formative for your craft, I would say resist the urge to go out and audition
While at grad school, or
while at grad school,
right?
because it's one thing when you're learning and you're taking in the information from the school process, which may be a once in a lifetime thing that you had, to get all of this knowledge from all of these people in your first year, and to not mix up what they're meaning by what they're teaching, and to really concentrate on it. You will be broke. You may not be broke, but I would just say put your focus totally on going there fully without the thought of auditioning. Because when you go out and audition, you go out and audition where you are in your process, and you do what you know to do as far as you know to do it. If you go audition after you've finished your training, you have a whole set of tools to come to when you go to audition and offer. Even when you graduate, sometimes there's a thing where you have to figure out. Now you have all the tools. You have to figure out how you and your instrument are going to synthesize what you learned, and use yourself and not lose yourself. Because I mean, sometimes the schools can get it wrong too, where they'll say, "Oh, you need to do." Our thing was neutral American. You need to neutral American, neutral American, neutral American, neutral American, and then you go to an audition, and they're like, "Damn, be yourself." I'm like, "Ah."
I feel that.
But I would say when it calls for it, the depth of emotional work, like different places you need to go, or if it calls for a different genre and you want to be learned, if it calls for Beckett, you can't be pulling out no Ionesco. Talking about, oh, I know. No, you don't. It's a whole different tone, whole different feel. So I'm appreciative that I'm learning in that, okay? As I eat my fried fish.
I love it. What was your first year like out of grad school? You stayed
crazy
in New York?
As hell.
Was it?
It was crazy as hell. I went. I auditioned for everything. I was up there in the equity office, barely getting sleep, waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to sign a paper at 7 because it wasn't equity yet. I auditioned for everything, which it was cool but not cool, because you just, like, when you're not in equity, you on the struggle pursuit.
For real.
And you feel the energy shifting to where you're chasing this thing. Child, I auditioned for an Italian play. So they had one black character that was semi-Italian. I ain't no Italian.
That's funny.
That's a lot of weave hair. I mean, come on.
It is. Extensions.
And what really centered me was having horrible experiences waiting to be seen. And I said, you know what? There got to be a different way, man. I said, after one of those equity calls, I came back home. I was so tired by the time I was seen. I said, fuck this, yo. In my head, I said, nah, this ain't working like this. I did a reset on where I was putting my energy. I said, you know what? I'm going to go for stuff that's right for me, that will be things that I want to work on from my, like, inside out. I don't want to be chasing after something. Whatever I want to work on, I want it to be quality, and I want it to just come. And yo, when I set that in motion, that day, with that horrible experience of being overtired, just everything. I came home and I set that in motion. And that same day, I saw the audition notice on the computer from my school, professional development, about the short of Pariah. Same day. I'm like, and so.
And that's a Sundance film.
And I applied for that, the short, and I had I would say, don't get a glamour headshot. Look like yourself. I paid how much money on glamour headshots thinking, I gotta look Hollywood. You gotta compete with that airbrushing and that thing, that no carb, no sugar. Child, no. Look like yourself and go on in. Because then I had to do a cover letter for the character that I was going in for. I applied for Alike and I applied for Laura, but I felt like Laura was more me. Even from my tomboy background of playing football, getting teased, everything. And so I went in, I wrote a really good letter to excuse my glamour shot. I said, listen, from the Bronx, I know that picture, what you're looking at is a glamour shot, but on the real, this is my experience from the Bronx, and this is who I am. And I just had to preface that thing because it was like, you can't be going to Laura's not Beyonce, okay? It's a totally different vibe, totally different look. It was like, okay, so
that's awesome. So what was your experience working on that? So you went from like totally wiped out, tired, setting your intention that you're gonna just do something that fulfills you, that you're happy about, to being on set for Pariah. Obviously at the time, the short. Did you guys know what that would become? Did it feel special on set? And what was your experience working on set of that?
What I knew was that it was my first time ever on set. So I had to learn a lot of things about the set process. Like, make sure you leave in enough time to get to your call time. Because I got lost. I think on my first day, I got lost. And make sure because I figured they was in the Bronx, so okay, I'm leaving. Don't leave an hour before. Leave 2 hours before. Or 3. Dealing with MTA.
Delays on delays.
Yeah. And so I had to learn that. And I had to learn that, you don't have to shout your lines because the mic is above you, boo-boo. Boom. And it was a beautiful growing process, and I love the character work that Dee had us do and the exploration exercises that she had us do. She had me and and our characters, me and Alike Adapiro, go to straight, like, cis environments is our character and see how we're received. And she had us go to the LGBT gay women's club to see how you're received in there. And I think we went to like a family oriented Dave and Buster's, the most cis thing, like back then it was just like, oh, families are there, the nuclear father, mother, kids, and here come Laura. And Alike, and then we went to this gay nightclub at night, and it was so funny because I went in full Laura mode. My mom was kind of scared for me because she was like, I hope nobody tries to fight you or nothing, no guys feel threatened. And that was eye-opening that my mom would feel that way, because she was like, I hope no guys want to try you and see how man you are or something.
Yeah.
And when I went into the club, I was getting numbers.
That's funny.
Hey,
that's funny. He's working it.
I was getting numbers, and then I saw somebody from my college, City College, who was actual gay. She saw me in there, and then she looked me up and down. She was like, "Pernell?"
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
I said it's a long story, but I'll explain it to you later. But it was so funny So I learned a lot. I'm grateful for that experience. The project was awesome. I loved what it did for the genre of independent filmmaking and just putting that story out there. And that mom scene, I was just like, there's so many kids that deal with being ostracized and being kicked out. We did go to, I think, the Milk High School at Astor Place, and they had like a screening. We talked to them, but it was wonderful. I loved it. I felt free. I feel free in every aspect of myself, tomboy, whatever. I feel good. I felt good. That's when you want to do that kind of work. You feel like, you're getting more clear on who you are. It's just good.
That's awesome. And you've been on sets from When They See Us to The Deuce and several other roles. You, besides like not speaking your theater voice because you have like a mic right above you, what have been some lessons that you've learned from being on set, or things that has helped you in your craft?
That the same process you do for character exploration in your theater work, it's the very same process you take with you in creating layered, full-dimensional characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the connection I had to get, even in my self-tapes. Once I learned, and I also worked with a brilliant filmmaker who was coaching me, Rod Gales, in breaking down the text, just like you would do a theater play. What's going on, what's the beats, what's this, then the added technical aspect was the camera angles,
mm-hmm.
And what you're doing and what's going on and before. So it's the same thing, and I love creating multifaceted characters because it feels real. And you have your text, you read the full text, you write. I write always like a character bone structure from this book. It had a chart called The Art of Dramatic Writing, which is brilliant for actors to read,
mm-hmm.
because it gets you in the mind of why a writer writes what he writes and what is the thinking behind what they're writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have that, you can see on the text part, this is who this person is, this is who the other characters say they are, and then whatever's holes in there that's not specified, you could put yourself in there and fill those gaps with your own little spice. So that's how you go through, make a go. That's it.
That's awesome. And one of my favorite playwrights is Stephen Adler Yergis, and you were just recently in his show, Halfway Bitches Go Straight to Heaven. What was your experience on that?
I loved it. We had,
I can imagine.
20 people in there.
It was a big cast.
Play and a goat. I said, okay. It was so good. I felt good, and I loved working with everybody. We had fun up in that dressing room. We had fun in rehearsals. It was a lot of work, but it was also fun. It was fun to work with John Ortiz. It was fun to just be a part of Steven making his masterpiece in real time.
That's awesome.
And seeing his process and how he comes up with pages, and because he's not in the room. He's not in the room in rehearsals. He's creating outside of the room, and whatever. I guess John relays back. I guess he takes it from there. But I mean, it's really extraordinary to see how dope he is as a writer. To think of all that stuff. I mean,
on the fly, yeah, it's impressive.
And I studied his work in grad school, and I was studying Norca. I was studying all this stuff, because he spoke me.
Yeah.
From New York,
It's raw. It's real. It's just
yes.
It's authentic. It's yeah.
It's messy as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I love it. What book have you gifted the most in the past year?
I think I gifted everything. I think acting textbooks. I say, Lee Strasberg, A Dream of Passion. Um, Stanislavski in Rehearsal is really good.
That's that big one, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's like a
Yeah.
little. It's like a black book, soft cover book. Stanislavski in Rehearsal, and it's really good because you get to see what he means by the process and how you can go through a rehearsal process and what are you trying to achieve in the rehearsal process and how to achieve it. I mean, it's so good. I like the Boleslavsky acting, the first six lessons. Okay, I said Lee Strasberg.
Stanislavski.
Passion. The art of dramatic writing is extraordinary. And something else, I don't know, but with the brilliance of YouTube, you can always look at different biographies of actors. I love watching documentaries.
So do I.
I love seeing. I used to be addicted to the ID channel or First 48 and all these things because it's human behavior. You want to know why, CSI I used to watch, Autopsy. You want to know, I like putting puzzles together. I want to know why this happened. How did this happen? How did this go together in this result, And plus I'm nosy. I'm like, girl, she done kill her husband. What she do? It's in her fingernails. They got the DNA. So yeah, I just love investigating, and I love the new process of putting together a play because, child, I mean, what we were doing in the preview
Mm-hmm.
and what you wound up with the finished project was totally. It was like two separate plays. I mean, it was fabulous, but it was work. You gonna work, but
Yeah.
it was so funny. It was so funny in all of it, because you laugh about different things, and the different pages. I mean, it's genius,
That's dope.
And to see the other actors who have worked with him for years, repertory actors of Labyrinth, legendary Liza, Elizabeth Canavan, what's her name? Elizabeth Rodriguez. You get to experience the vibe and
I hear it's just like a family. Like they're just so.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much so. And Steven is so welcoming and just a beautiful person and generous, and he remembers people, and he's like, no, I didn't mean to do this. It was really eye-opening to see somebody that, they want a Pulitzer, they want it, and it just is humble. They're cool. John Ortiz is cool. It was really cool. I just loved it. It was a lot of fun, and especially when you really, after your preview, and you know how that character and those beats are really supposed to go, because it's set in. Oh, you're playing. You're having fun,
Finding that
ball.
magic. That's dope. What movie have you gifted in the past year, or really resonated with you the most in the past year?
I don't know. It's so many. Like, I just know when I'm up late at night, because I'm a late owl, and a movie comes on that I love. It could be Natural Born Killers. It could be Casino. It could be Goodfellas. It could be What's Love Got to Do with It. It could be.
That's a huge shift from gangster. You like a mix of both.
It could be a Spike Lee classic. I mean, it goes to the genre because I just know when I turn it on. I remember it was 3:00 in the morning. I am looking at Mo Better Blues. Like, I ain't
Classic.
seen it before for the 100th time. Like, girl, she came in here with the same dress. What you gonna do, Blue? What you gonna do? I just love good work. Like, when I see it, I've seen, what was this movie? Carlito's Way. Child.
Carly. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've seen that movie 5 million times. When it comes on, I'm there.
It's a classic.
I said, ooh. It just captures you. I don't have any like particular favorites. I just know when I'm at attention with something and when I'm not. When I'm not, I probably go to sleep or something.
I feel that. What do you think has been your best work? So, or work that you're most proud of? All of it. I feel that. I respect it.
I mean, they're all my kids.
Yeah.
I feel like they're different, you know, for different things, and they help me grow as a person. Help me heal some wounds.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional work, you know, they're all different. You know, I don't have any favorites.
And what do you love the most about acting? So I heard you say that you just love human behavior and understanding, solving pieces of puzzles. Like what do you love most about acting?
What I love is that it's just kind of unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're meeting a character, your spirit, you're extracting from nothing to solidify something, and it's kind of like a spiritual experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's being a shaman, you doing alchemy.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
The pages are right there. Everybody can write pages. But what you do with those pages, what you know to do with those pages, and then how you create, and it just is the screen or on stage, it's amazing. Like when I see different things that I've created along the way, and I'm looking back, I said, who the hell is this?
That's great.
You know?
That's transformation right there.
People will be like, I've seen you from somewhere, but I can't put my finger on it. And then when they find out, they're like, oh, I remember when we did Pariah, the full movie, and it was going through different festivals. And there were other women that were Laura's that came, and I was dressed like how I had my lipstick on, I got my extensions in, I got my earrings on. I'm like, hey girl, hey, looking like a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And after the movie, I was standing right beside them, and then they were like, yo, that was a good ass movie. And I mean, that girl and Laura, like whoever played her, like where is she? Like what? Like wow! And I was standing right beside her.
That's incredible.
They said, there she is. She was like, you know what I mean? I love that. You know?
That's dope. If there was a billboard in Times Square for everyone to see with a message of what you want to say, what would it say and why?
Be you.
Be you.
Period. Be you. Whatever messiness you are, you can work on yourself. It ain't about being messy, but seeing yourself in the totality of yourself, being honest with that, and then letting that shine.
And what are you currently working on or desire to work on next?
I'm currently booked in TV before this COVID period. I can't say what, because I done signed some things.
Some NDAs.
But yeah, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. But it's been a joy. I've been blessed. I'm grateful to be booked before this had set in. I'm very fortunate because a lot of people, they had shows canceled. It's rough going, and although we had the COVID funds come, it's really unfortunate to see people struggling, you know, families, and then, you know, the Black Lives Matter thing. It's been a whole thing. This whole thing,
2020.
yeah, it's been trauma.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of trauma. And I feel like with all of these 4 years, was a grand fucked up finale of his.
Mm-hmm.
The orange one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. But it's just been a lot of trauma, and I've been focusing on my self-care. I changed this. Well, they won't see the room, but you can see this room. I've changed this room into like a more of my bed, all of my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I changed this like a self-taping situation. My equipment is over here, and I just changed it into a healing place for myself.
I love it.
And also treat yourself with the care you would treat a baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes we are rough with ourselves. And because you wouldn't say to a baby, well, damn, girl, what you do that for?
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, that's not how that's not how God sees us.
Love it.
You know, it's unlimited love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you can't talk about the project, is there like an estimate where listeners can look out for that project that you'll be in, or a date, or you can't even speak about that?
I can't say.
Oh, okay, got you.
No.
I feel that. All right, so I ask all my guests this: when you think of the word creative, who's the first person that comes to mind, and why? God, you said?
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's the third time.
It's like the first creator.
Yeah.
God, mind, God, you know, had the thought, the process, the vibration to create.
Love it.
You know?
And where can people connect with you? What's your Instagram, your Twitter, your Snapchat?
They
all
can't
that.
connect with me nowhere.
No, you hiding.
No. They can Facebook, you know, I'm taking a little break. I say I'm taking a little break, then I go back on there. Why? But Facebook, Instagram, Pernell Walker. I'm on Twitter sometimes. I try to be on there. And that's pretty much it, you know?
Cool. Pernell Walker, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Yes,
Blessings.
Yes, blessings. Thank you so much.